our female fitness myths topic has blended into March, and we're kicking off this month with the myth that deadlifts are bad for your back or that squatting will hurt your back and vice versa. No, I'm sorry, but lifting is actually really good for your back. And there are lots of reasons to lift weights with your clients and yourself. So before I dive deep, there's a group of elements that need to sort of all work in alignment for someone to squat or deadlift without pain. They need to be lifting properly, okay? So a proper technique will vary from person to person, situation to situation, and depending on what they're doing in their lifestyle. So it's not one perfect way of deadlifting or squatting. The synchronization and the health of their deep core and pelvic floor, including for men, will matter. And learning from the beginning, not just picking up a weight and trying to lift it. Those things are probably your fundamental to lift for health rather than lift for injury. Now, people should be lifting stuff. You should be lifting weights in the gym, and you're often lifting as a fact of life as well, especially if you're a mum. Resistance training has been shown to dramatically improve your quality of life and can also mitigate some of the symptoms of chronic disease. It can keep your bones and muscles strong and healthy, preventing and slowing the onset of things like osteoporosis. It can prevent cardiovascular disease. It can reduce your risk of heart attack. It can prevent and slow the onset of diabetes, regulate insulin and reduce inflammation. Lifting weights can help you survive cancer. Lifting weights will boost your metabolism and help you lose body fat, even though you probably won't lose as much weight. It can improve your mood, your self-confidence, your sleep quality, reduce your flare-ups of depression and anxiety. It can improve balance and reduce your risk of falls, and so on and so on and so on. And all these studies that I read with those benefits are just a little disclaimer. They were done on men and women, and predominantly men, but they're all studying lifting. That is picking a weight up off the floor or off a bench and putting it back down on a floor or a bench. So like a deadlift or a squat, basically. So lifting as part of your strength program or fitness program or part of everyday life, we've established is really good for you, and we should do it if we can. Now, just because the client has reported back pain with squatting or deadlifting doesn't mean we now just ignore them. Or if you're getting pain in squatting or deadlifting, don't just ignore it and keep doing it because you know it's good for you. A lot of people do get injured performing those movements, okay? But what we should be doing is tweaking those movements to find out what you can do so you can still get the benefits of lifting weights without hurting your back. So here are some variables off the top of my head that can help you with performing a squat or performing a deadlift without hurting your back. You can lift a lighter weight, okay? Lifting some weight is better than lifting no weight at all, okay? So most of the research on the health benefits of lifting weights are done on heavy weights, sets of 10 or lower. But if you're doing a lighter weight in sets of 15, it's still better than doing no resistance training at all. You can reduce or change where you hold the load. So if we're loading clients up in a back squat and that's where they're reporting pain, then give them dumbbells and have them hold the same weight by their sides and see if that changes things, because it so often does. You can reduce the range of motion. So if your client or you want to squat with your butt past your knees, that's fine, but start with like a 3/4 or a half squat. And if you can achieve that pain-free or your client doesn't hurt doing that, that is better than going full range and reporting back pain. You can change foot positions. So if you're always cueing straight lines, try having toes out or a staggered leg or toes in, or controversial. Just play with that positioning a bit and see if there's a position that doesn't hurt their back. Cue pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is like massively underutilized. You can mobilize the back or above and below where it hurts before you even try to lift the weight. See what changes. You can activate the glutes. Lots of people do that. Get the butt all fired up and then go and do your squats. See what happens. You can just practice technique for ages with banded loads or no loads for a while, and then start loading it up and see if it changes your experience of a squat or a deadlift. You can check the pelvic position. So are they got a big banana back? Are they tucked under? And what happens if you change that? You can stabilize them by putting them on a Smith machine, which is one of those barbell weights, but it's on a track, or a leg press where you sit and press. They're just a few ways of lifting without doing a perfect or traditional squat or deadlift in that single perfect technique that you see all over the internet, because we all have different shaped bones. We all have different insertion and origin points of our ligaments and tendons, but we all absolutely need to learn to lift well for our bodies. So the take home message is lifting can help you or your clients' back pain. However, you should only move through a pain and consequence free range and positioning, and then tweak, vary the variables and see what happens. Make notes. You want to advocate for your client, like, why is this back pain happening in these movements? Send them to a physio, a chiro, or someone who's qualified to diagnose. Keep looking if it's you who has the back pain. Don't stop just because they can't find anything wrong. Also, keeping in mind, things that contribute to back pain include stress, like lifestyle stress, emotional stress, depression, anxiety, right? Posture contributes to back pain. Hypermobility can give you back pain. Stiffness can give you back pain. Scarring in your abdomen especially can give you back pain. Pelvic floor dysfunction, it's a symptom of a pelvic floor dysfunction, back pain. Or you've got a foot or a knee or a hip injury, can come out, it can present itself in back pain. So it's not as simple as squats hurt your back or deadlifts hurt your back. It's far more complex, but that's not the same thing as saying you should still do it even when it hurts your back. Modify it and then keep lifting if you can without pain. So if you are one of those people or you have clients with chronic back pain, here are some exercise considerations. And these are from the Emergency Care Institute, from one of the New South Wales government, okay? You can take pressure off the affected area by mobilizing the structures above and below it. So overwhelmingly in the gym, back pain occurs in the low back. So we mobilize the thoracic and the pelvis and leave the low back alone. Move, okay? Rule of thumb, someone who has back pain is move, but don't stretch it, okay? Especially if it's a posture or hypermobility related injury, which personal trainers are not qualified to diagnose. Stretching will make it worse, whereas movement will lubricate the joints, send blood to the area and help it feel better, help it recover quicker too. It's really important to consult with their physio or doctor, because personal trainers are not qualified, or even general population, you can't diagnose your own pain. Go and get lots of opinions. While you're inflamed, if you have flare-ups, don't load it with strength, because a lot of the time a flare-up will end up in a spasm, and loading it is shortening it and spasming it more. Commence deep core training right away. Someone's chronic with their low back pain or have had low back injury, whether they're a man or a woman, pelvic floor exercise has an analgesic effect. So if you're a trainer and you're not qualified in deep core training, please go and do it. And general populations, go and learn your Kegel and your pelvic floor movement by going to see a pelvic health physio. Any questions, comment below, or send me a direct message and I will try to answer it.